All right, touching on the top bets in NBA today. Also going to give you guys a couple of bets in both NHL and PGA. So I do just want to start off with like the DFS side of it today, because there are a lot of games in which you can tell PrizePicks in Vegas doesn't really know how to properly value them just yet. And I think that could be a great potential opportunity for us on tonight's slate. So looking at it right now, the Pacers are going to be without Haliburton, okay? So that could easily open up some projected value. And I think Benedict Mathurin is going to be undervalued on tonight's PrizePicks slate and potentially NBA DFS slate. Looking at what he has done with Haliburton off the court, he has kind of been a stud. So I feel like this is going to be what the prop is. I don't know. I'm kind of just taking a guess there. But what he has done with Haliburton off the court, just per 36, and that's the biggest question. Will he get around 30 minutes or so? We don't know. Probably not going to get 36 minutes, but he is the player that does get the most minutes with Haliburton off the court as well. So something interesting there. And this is also going to be a game in which is expected to be higher scoring, one of the higher scoring games on the slate. So the chances of him getting points are going to be there. But what he has done with him off the court is 27 real life points per 36, 5 rebounds, 1.3 assists. He has a big old usage rate as well, 30%. So that tells me that he's going to be involved, and he averages 35 fantasy points per 36 with him off the court. So I'm giving you guys that information because we could potentially bet the over points, maybe points and rebounds, and then maybe fantasy points as well. We got to wait for the board, but that could potentially be a great spot. And then for what it's worth, TJ McConnell could be as well. Okay, McConnell kind of dominates too. Almost averages 12 points per 36 with him off the court. And once again, probably not going to get that many minutes. Maybe closer to 28. And he averages 43 fantasy points per 36 with him off the court. Once again, probably going to get closer to like 28, 30 minutes. But those are two props that I'm going to be on the lookout for once they drop. And then I also think they're not going to be able to properly value Bogdanovic here on tonight's slate. We look at the Detroit Pistons situation tonight. They're going to be without Jalen Duren and also Bagley. We already know that. They are potentially going to be without Stewart as well, which would just make this a better play. But with those two bigs out that were already getting some minutes, we could see Bogdanovic really step up. And his per 36 is around 30 fantasy points with them off the court and about 4 rebounds, 4 assists. So there is a great buying opportunity there, I think, for him on the slate. We just need to get what the prop is going to be, okay? And right now, as it sits, the only prop that we're getting on that game is going to be Trae Young, okay? They're trying to figure out that game. There is a decent amount of injury news, and so they're trying to figure out kind of what to do with that is what it seems like. And then I just want to point out, like, Trey Jones, guys, this is a strange one. So Trey Jones points is set at 15.5. And if you look at what he's been able to do recently, you would say probably too low. And I would too. This is kind of like Mason Plumlee last night. Mason Plumlee was not favored, and I'll show you guys here, to get over his points, even though he had been on a tear, and even though the game suggested that he would most likely get the over. And what I mean by that is this game is projected to be an extremely high scoring game. Sure, the Golden State Warriors are projected to win by 8.5 points. That's not good. But the fact that it's 244, I mean, that is so many points scored. And then you're telling me that Trey Jones, a guy that has been scoring a ton recently, isn't going to get over 15.5. So I'm just saying, like, you could potentially do the PrizePicks bet here and bet the over, maybe in the game stack. But I'm just saying, like, this is a strange number. So I would probably take the over. I just want to point that out because that is like a discrepancy that seems to be out there. And Mason Plumlee, which was a similar play last night, he actually did hit the over as well. And now getting into the Magic, it does seem like there's the potential that we could be looking at Fultz and also another player to get over points, rebounds, and assists. So the biggest thing with Fultz is we need to get news on Jalen Suggs. It just raises his floor up a little bit if Jalen Suggs is ruled out. And the thing that worries me about Fultz is that he has been shooting the basketball extremely well. And that's kind of why I didn't want to chase the points total. And that's kind of why I feel more comfortable with the points, rebounds, and assists, because eventually he's going to have a poor night shooting and he could potentially make up for it, obviously, with rebounds and assists then. This game with Utah is the biggest reason why we like this, because it is a good matchup and it's a relatively decent high scoring game, not too much of a blowout risk. And I say at -6, I mean, it could be. But yeah, he's a decent one. And honestly, this is one of the better ones I found this morning. And guys, there's a reason why these are out in the morning. It's because they're kind of thinking these are their best ones. They want people to jump on these. They say these are the closest ones is pretty much it. And so thus, if you pair them together, there's a chance, that one might hit, but the other one probably won't. That's kind of why they're putting them out there in the morning. And then this one with Carter is very interesting, okay? Because Bol was back last night or in the previous game, but he didn't play at all. Okay, so if he were to not play again tonight, I think Carter would be a decent play, maybe more or less points, We can see he's been over that 3 out of the last 5 games. Not perfect, but at the same time, I don't know. I just don't like to chase a situation like this where it's kind of injury dependent. I don't think we're going to get the Bowl news. But if we did, if that happens again, I think Carter in this matchup would still be a good play. And the biggest reason why I like Carter there is because they are giving him a pretty good chance to get the over there. Minus 135, those are pretty good odds there. And so that's the biggest reason why I like that bet. So my favorite bet NBA wise, as it sits right now, based off of the information that we have, would be Kawhi over 6.5 rebounds. So they're saying that he's minus 130 to get that as well, which obviously pretty good odds. Those are some of the best ones that I could find that correlate with the PrizePicks number at 6.5 as well. That game is expected to be a close one as well. Maybe not the most high scoring game, so that's not really appealing in that sense. But given the fact that Paul George is out, Kawhi has stepped up into a bigger role. With Paul George off the court, he averages 27 points, 6.3 rebounds. Okay, so a little bit under that projection. 4 assists, has a big old usage rate of 28%, and 48 fantasy points per 36. And I want to point this out that he has been playing a lot more recently, minutes wise. Look at the last few games, 37, 35. And this is kind of the risk with Kawhi, is that he basically sat out that game. And I think the goal was that he could play on the back end of the back-to-back and basically said, nah, I'm Kawhi, I'm not going to play. And then came out and played 38 and 36 minutes. So that is good there. So I am very curious as to the other ones that we get as well. Are we going to get, let's point this out rebounds wise, 9, 7, only 3 in that blowout, 5 and 8. So like pretty good stuff there over that sample size. As long as it stays close, like he should be very close to getting over 6.5. But I do think there's the potential for maybe over points, rebounds, and assists. We just got to see what that number is. But he has stepped into a bigger role and a more consistent role with the minutes being there recently. And I don't think the data has adjusted just yet. So this would probably be the best spot as it sits right now. Now I'm going to touch on some other situations that I'm looking for. So we'll see that the Suns are very banged up. And so a lot of their starters are not projected to play. I mean, just so injured. So with that, I actually don't mind maybe Dwayne Washington, depending on his number. The last 2 nights, it's been set at over 20 and a half. And you got that against Golden State barely. Just not shooting the ball well right now, okay? And the minutes just aren't there. So that's the biggest worry with him, is that the minutes really haven't increased too much. If he was getting 30, 36 minutes, he would get there. The player that I like the most in this game, and I think we're going to get this, is going to be Dario Saric. With them being as banged up as they are, we have seen him get 26, 36, or 30 and 26 minutes. I'm very curious as to see what the prop will be, because I think he could be a good player that we look at for like fantasy points scored, okay? Just something to watch. All right, so like LeBron last night, let's try to find some others to put in there with Kawhi. And guys, how frustrating was LeBron's shooting last night? We could tell it's the right number that they're giving us there. Minus 150 to get the over of 31 points. Shot like, what was it, 9 for 28 or something like that? 0 for 8 from the 3 ball land, like 6 for 10 from free throws. Just had a poor night shooting is what happened. But that was frustrating. He ruined some pretty good prop. But now tonight I'll probably double down. That's kind of what I like to do. When there's a losing prop, I kind of like to double down. That's kind of just my strategy. And then if that happens again tonight, I'll double down again tomorrow. But looking at the NHL props, and these have been pretty beneficial. And darn it, this literally changed since I got on. It was 4.5. at minus 145. That is annoying to get the over there. Okay, never mind on Jack Hughes. And I didn't bet that. Because I was making the video. I was like, oh, great. That's annoying right there. Okay, so let's go ahead. Connor. Those were the best odds that we had. That's frustrating. Connor McDavid, though. 3.5 shots on goal. We can see he's been over that 4 out of the last 5 games. And this is set at minus 135 to get the over there. So pretty decent there. I don't mind those odds. And then Thomas here. The under is actually set at minus 135 as well. So you do want to bet the under here. So less than. And then let's get into some golf props. The golf props really worked out as well. So with golf, there can be kind of a big edge because it's really just going based off of like one variable. Like for basketball, I'm talking about a bunch of independent variables. This player's out, the game, blowout potential, and all that stuff. With golf, it's really like, how is the course playing? How's the player expected to play? That's really all it comes down to. So right now, as it sits right now, Sungjae Im was the best play this week at the tournament, okay? The holes played is basically saying made, cut, or not. He is currently +1, Okay, the cut line is currently set at -1, but being the best player in the field, or let's just say one of the best players in the field, the chances are he's going to go low today and make the cut. And same thing with Andrew Putnam, who is currently 1 off the cut line, and the chances are that he is going to make the cut. Those are 2 that I like. And then on the flip side of that, golf wise, Matt Kuchar is someone that really isn't a birdie machine. Been struggling a lot recently. I would see him not hitting the over for birdies. And then same thing with Adam Scott. The only thing with Adam Scott is he got hot at the end of his round, had like 3 straight birdies. So that could catapult him into a better round, mentally today. So more likely than not, he's going to get the under there. But just want to give you guys those bets as well. So for like a bet of the day, let's try to find one. You guys know I don't like to bet under that much. And then just one more that I want to point out that I like as well. Matthias Schwab is he wasn't a good play this week, whereas Stuart Sink was a guy that we expected to be a birdie maker. So like looking at the score for him, very poor. And then Stuart Sink was a birdie maker yesterday. And I actually probably would like this bet the most. Stuart Sink, better, birdie or better in his matchup. And then also Kawhi Leonard if we are doing the NBA prop there. And I don't mind this one as well. Okay, not a terrible add-on. But that's all I have for you guys for today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Give a like and subscribe. That helps me be able to put out more content for you guys. All right, let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.